Ladies and gentlemen, welcome yourselves back to the official Twizz Lordsi YouTube channel. As always, it's your boy Twizz Lordsi, the leader of Twizz Clan. But today in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to get more wins on Blackout, the brand new Battle Royale mode from Call of Duty. Now this video is going to be more of like a beginner's guide. It's going to have tons of tips and tricks that you guys can apply to your actual games that will allow you to get more wins. Some of them will be more obvious than others, but this overall is to help your average or beginner player win more games on Call of Duty Blackout. But firstly, if you guys have any questions beyond this video right here, make sure to leave them in the comment section down below and I'll be more than willing to come and respond to all of those messages down there. But lastly, if you want to join the Team Twizz army and you want to help us get to our sub goal of 20k subs, then make sure to smash that subscribe button and maybe chuck a like on this video right here. Okay, without further ado, let's get into the first tips and tricks to help you win on Blackout. So for tip number one, we have landing locations. Now this is a very crucial step if you want to get further in the game. So all depending on where the helicopters are going to drop you out, it changes every single game, as you guys know. Now you want to go somewhere that's a little bit more discreet from the path of the helicopters, but you also want it to be somewhere where you can actually get some decent loot. At the same time, you don't want it to be too overcrowded. Let's say, for example, this red arrow represents where the helicopters are going to go, where you can jump out. This whole radius around here is going to be the most jam-packed because a lot of people like to jump out immediately at the beginning. The second they can jump out, a lot of people jump out and go to the nearest place that they can because a lot of people like to go for high kills. So I'm not trying to say you should land on the complete opposite side where factory is down the bottom, but you want to go somewhere slightly more discreet because no matter where you go, especially if it's a named location, the odds are that there is going to be people there, and that could mess you up right at the beginning. So the best place for you to land, especially if you're a beginner, is at no named locations but small towns. For example, the one below Rivertown, there's a load of houses right there that you guys can go and loot, and there's normally quite good loot in there. So that might be better odds for you by picking up a weapon and you be able to get loot before you commence in battle. Or even maybe by some of the houses below Array or below Fracking Tower, anywhere that's not a big name location that you can get some loot and then travel to a battle will help you so much, and it's the #1 tip. Now the second tip that I have for you guys is learning to fly to the correct location. A lot of people like to jump out and just glide, try and glide all the way to where they want to go and realize that they flew too short. Now the best method, and you guys have to practice this, the more you go into games you can practice it every single time that you jump out. You want to go directly downwards where you jump out. You want to go directly down. The second you hit 70 miles per hour, you want to pull up and start traveling towards the location you want to go to, especially if the location you want to go to is much further away. Now this does come with practice, and applying to what we said in the first tip about where you want to land, this will be incredibly helpful for you. So you just want to practice it. It really does take practice on how to land properly and how to get the correct speed, because if you get the correct speed you can literally glide across the map, and that is brilliant for what you need. Now that you guys know where to land and how to get there as quick as possible, the third thing is we're going to start looking into actual gameplay. So the third tip I have for you is actually changing one of your settings, and it will make sense on the fourth tip. So what you want to do on the actual Blackout menu, where you can choose your character, select what playlist you want to do and whether it's Fill Squad or not, and when you click deploy and check your black market where you're seeing on screen right now, you want to press options or menu, then you want to go to options, then you want to go to control, then you want to go all the way to Blackout, And the one thing you want to do, and this is incredibly important, is change your blackout item to pickup, so make it pressed. The reason you want to do this is because the second you land where you want to go, you want to be able to quickly tap square on your items, similar to how you would on PC, to quickly pick up items, and this really does help big time. So instead of having to hold square to pick up all your items, or if you guys are on Xbox, I believe it's X, instead of having to hold it, you guys are gonna want to just quickly tap it to pick up items, and it's super efficient and it allows for the quickest speed for you guys to pick up items. So for tip number 4, once you've landed at the location you wanted to and you've got there as quick as possible, you then need to know what to do from there. Now your first priority always, no matter what, is to pick up a weapon. So you need to search until you find a weapon. Don't even bother going to pick up bandages, and don't go and pick up attachments or perks. You want to go directly for a weapon, because without a weapon you're defenseless, and picking up those items in the first place will not matter anymore, because you can always go back for them, but you want to find any weapon that you possibly can as quickly as possible. If the person landing with you picks up a weapon before you, we all know how that goes. Now for tip number 5, when you actually have a weapon, you've rushed, you've picked up a weapon, if there are people around you and you can see they haven't got a weapon, depending on what items you have, if you've managed to pick up a submachine gun and they're really close range, you should go for them immediately, because going for them will allow them to not go for you once they get better equipment, and that is actually really important. And a lot of people like to just run away from the get-go, but depending on what they have, if they have a weapon and they're mid-range, and you have a submachine gun, it's not worth you pushing them, so you want to run away. But if someone lands in the same location as you, they are immediately a threat, and they're probably most of the time aware of your presence. So if you've got the right guns, you've got some armor, and you think you can take them out, do it immediately, because this will be incredibly helpful to take them out immediately so that you don't have a bigger threat. For tip number 6, this one takes a little bit of time and patience. You're gonna have to keep playing and practicing to learn different guns, learn the range on the weapons, learn the accuracy on the weapons, learn the damage on the weapons, learn what attachments are best for that weapon and how it suits you, as well as learning the perks, learning what vehicles you should take. It takes practice. You just need to keep going and going until you figure out what works for you, because some players are better with snipers and some people are better with ARs and some people are better with shotguns. It all really depends on your style of gameplay. Each individual has a different style of gameplay, whether that's sneak, whether that's tactical, whether it's pushing. It's all different, and you need to figure out which weapons and attachments and perks are best for you, and it just takes practice. If there's always an empty weapon slot, you're gonna want to put an attachment on your weapon no matter what. But carrying on that same tip for tip number 7, if you have a fully kitted out weapon, let's say you have a Spitfire submachine gun and you've got all your attachments filled out for it, or even some of the attachments, before you change the weapon, take all of your attachments off of it. You can either drop them or you can put them in your bag if you have a backpack on, because you can put it on your new weapon. I've seen so many people just swap the weapon and continue playing looking for new attachments for their gun. All you have to do is take them off and drop them on the ground, because when you pick up your new weapon, you've just got to tap square to put them on the new weapon, making your new gun more OP. For tip number 8, we're going to be talking about aiming, and this is something that does take practice, but I'm not just going to leave you guys with practice more and your aiming will get better. I have a couple of solutions. They're not the best that you can apply, but they will definitely help, and they will help with letting you know what loadouts you want. Going over to the multiplayer on Black Ops 4 or going into a custom match on multiplayer, will help you learn the weapon, what it sprays like, what its rate of fire is, what its range is like. Obviously the range have been slightly changed for Blackout to multiplayer, but it will help you with some accuracy. And if you want to learn what sensitivity you should have your controller at for your aiming, I really recommend you should go over to multiplayer custom matches to practice your aiming and learn the weapons just a little bit. Keep in mind that you can put a load of bots on custom multiplayer matches, so that will incredibly help with your aiming, and you just have to keep practicing. In terms of Blackout, your knowledge from multiplayer will apply over, but it is slightly altered a little bit to reach longer ranges, and how to pick up attachments is obviously different, and there's different mechanics. So if you're not going to practice on multiplayer, you're just going to have to keep playing Blackout until you get your aiming correct. But aiming's pretty similar from Blackout to multiplayer, so you can practice your aiming over on custom games on multiplayer on Black Ops 4. So for tip number 9, we're going to be focusing more on the circle itself. As you guys know, the storm, or I'm not quite sure what they call it on this one. It's not a storm, it's, I really don't know, but the circle that you have to go into when the circle gets smaller and smaller to push the whole 100 players into the middle. You want to learn how to get the correct height. Height and cover is incredibly important. You need to learn the map in a sense. The more you play again, the more you're gonna know the map. But what you want to do is make sure you have plenty of cover. If you see a building that's in the circle near the edge, you want to go to those buildings. You need the cover. The cover is what will help you massively, because it's not like Fortnite. You need to get out of the habit of just building a wall in front of you to block bullets. You can't do that on Blackout. Either the other person has really bad aiming or you're going to be killed. So what you have to do is prepare yourself. Think ahead. Think 2 steps ahead. If there's a building on the edge of the circle, you're going to want to push to that building as the circle comes in. But before you get to that position, you need to keep in a couple of factors in your mind. What directions can the enemy come from? Will I be sandwiched from both ways? So like, by sandwich, for those of you who are unaware of the terminology, if 2 teams push you inwards, or 2 different enemy teams kind of trap you in the middle and they're both aiming for you, you're going to be stuck right there in the middle, and both teams are going to go for you, then they'll go for each other. So you just need to take in little factors and think ahead about where enemies could potentially come from and where your next move is going to be. That is a key point, knowing your next location. Now on the topic of the circle, and I'm going to keep this in the same tip, you need to make sure you're getting high ground. If there's high ground available, go for it, because it always helps. Someone shooting you from up above that has cover, normally, let's say 7 times out of 10, will be able to get the advantage on you, because they can look directly down and they can throw equipment down a hill or down towards you, where if you're throwing stuff up or aiming upwards, you're at a much more disadvantage. So make sure you have plenty of cover and make sure you have the height advantage. Now this tip's going to be for your average Blackout player or for beginners as well. You want to push in the circle as the circle's coming in, because that way it prevents people from jumping you from behind. You need to be able to go with the circle as it closes in, so that you know no one's going to push you from that direction behind you. Similar to the last tip, you have to be thinking ahead. You have to know where they're going to come from and where enemies could potentially attack you from. So eliminating the fact that people could come from behind you is a huge advantage. Going in with the circle will really help your gameplay, and I really recommend you begin doing that. The 11th tip I have for you guys is for when the circle's starting to close in. The circle's gotten much smaller and more enemies are going to be within a closer radius of yourself. So now that enemies are much closer to you, you have your cover, you have the height advantage, you have the correct weapons kitted out. One thing that is going to help you massively towards the end circle is having the correct equipment, such as cluster grenades, 9 bangs, concussions, frags, all of those equipments that you could gather in your bag will become so immensely helpful, it's unreal. Having those equipments at the end circle when enemies are in a closer radius to yourself is going to help you massively, because it's going to give you a tactical advantage. If you throw a grenade at somebody, they either accept their death from the grenade, or they're going to have to run out from their cover. When they run out from their cover, gives you the perfect advantage to shoot them down. Or if you throw a 9-bang or a concussion, they will be blind, so you will be able to push. Now, those equipments are some of the most crucial advice that I can give you guys for help, and I really recommend you follow it. Now, for the 12th tip that I have for you guys is actually drops. So drops get dropped randomly throughout the map. I'm pretty sure it's every time the circle closes in, a new drop will drop somewhere. The drops are massive points for people to go. Everyone can see the drop in the map and they're going to go towards it. Not everybody will, but a lot of people will. So that is going to be a huge fire point, and you want to be incredibly careful. Snipers love drops. Just remember that quote right there, and I promise it will help you. Snipers love drops. Only go for a drop if you've got cover and you're playing duos or squads and someone's covering your booty, because if you don't, you could get sniped across map, and that's end game. You're gonna have to start again. Another thing that you can apply with the drops is maybe sit near one yourself. When you've got enough cover and you're sitting by a drop and you want to get more kills, this could be a great way for you to get some kills and draw in some attention. People won't know you're there, and you'll have the upper advantage and kill some of the players off that you're facing against. Now, I'm going to make a whole separate video telling you guys how to get more kills in Blackout, and if that's something you want to see, make sure to subscribe, smash that like button and put push notifications on. But you can really use the drop to your advantage. But if you want to avoid fire and you want to capture a win, I really don't recommend you go for a drop. Now we have time for some really quick tips, and these are going to be fire tips that are going to help you big time but didn't need explanation. If you kill someone and you need to loot their stuff, make sure the area is clear first. After gunfire, people are going to be drawn to the bullets, so you want to make sure you're safe and you want to lay down and open the bags like that. Another tip, when approaching a building after driving to it or walking to a town, if the door or windows are smashed, the odds are it's already been looted. Another tip is to pick up all and any ammo that you see. Any ammo whatsoever, just pick it up. It's better to have full level 1 armor brand new than broken level 2 armor. Going over rocky terrains will destroy your vehicle so much easier. When taking cover in a building, make sure that they can't see you through the windows. Search every single room in a house, because some of them could have amazing loot in that room that you wouldn't have even thought to open because it's just a bathroom. But ladies and gentlemen, those are some of the most helpful tips that I could possibly give you guys to get your way all the way to winning. I guarantee if you guys apply these tips, you're going to be capturing a load of wins, just like how the Twizz Clan and Twizz Elite do. This is incredibly helpful tips, and make sure you send it to your friends if anyone needs help capturing those wins and you want to give them the help that they need. So when you go into a duo with your partners, they'll know exactly what to do and you guys will be on lock. As I said previously, I'm going to be making a video talking about how to get more kills in Blackout, and I might even make a video telling you guys how to get more wins and communicate with your team better on duos and quads to allow you guys to get wins as partners as well. You can apply these tactics to duos and quads, but there are some really helpful communication techniques that you guys could apply to your gameplay. But ladies and gentlemen, we live stream here on this channel daily and we make lots of videos, so make sure to subscribe, put those push notifications on, and smack a like if this video helped you or will help one of your friends. I really would appreciate it, and I'll be responding to all comments in the comment section down below. And if any of you guys have extra tips that you want to give out, comment it down below. People will see it. I want there to be a discussion, and you might be able to get some extra help from the comments, so go and check them out. But ladies and gentlemen, this has been your boy Twizz Lordsi, the leader of Twizz Clan. Much love Team Twizz, and I will see you in the next video or live stream like a somebody. Peace out Team Twizz. Much love.